Okay, we'll have a quick look at the particle emitter. So I've put a new fusion composition onto the timeline and come over to the fusion page, and we just have the media out. First thing I want to do is to bring a background in, attach that, turn the alpha down to 0, so we've got a transparent background. So the main things we're going to be using today are these controls here. So we'll bring an emitter down, and we'll bring a render down. Now these work the same way as the other nodes. They live in their own little world and need this renderer, the same as 3D text and the shapes that we talked about in previous videos. So what do we want to do here? We're going to bring in this text. Just add some text in here. And then we want to connect that to the emitter. But as you can see at the moment, there's no way of connecting it. So if you come into the emitter and come across here to the region, click bitmap, that will now open up this emitter region bitmap, so I can connect the two together. And what we want to do is put this down here. So what we want to do is put this into here, and we can see our text here. Just increase the size. And come across to the controls. So it's a bit faint here, so the number of particles, put them high or low. So if we stick around about the 60. What I would suggest is that you use the playback and use the render cache as smart. These take quite a bit of rendering. The other thing to do here in the render node is come down and to let that, once the particle leaves, kill it. Otherwise it will keep tracking all 150, 200 particles, maybe more. So therefore we have our emitter into our render, and away we go. Now from the emitter, we're going to select our directional force. So we want to change the particle that's been emitted, go into the style, change your brush, and then you can select any one of these presets in here. So for this one, I'm just going to play the bubble, going to make it bigger. We can change the size over the amount of time that is actually showing. Again, use the editor to ease in and ease out. There we go, we can see quite a lot of bubbles being formed. Actually, what I want to do here is add something else here called Turbulance. What we're going to do is change the strength by using in the directional force. So you've now got your text node and you're emitting bubbles from that text. So to make it look a bit nicer, what we're going to do is create another text node, but in this case what we want to do is copy it and then paste an instance. And the reason for doing this is that the emitter is taking from the original text, and anything we do we're going to play with on the instance text so that the emitter doesn't get confused. There we go. So I come into the instance text. Let's change the shading and the softness. So because this is instance, anything we change in here will also be reflected back in text 1. So to change that, if you right click on the X, select the instance, and the little green box disappears. So that looks quite nice. So what would be quite nice is for the text itself to disappear over time. So we're going to add a dissolve in here. So let's come in, find the dissolve, add that, and then connect our renderer into the foreground. So over time what we'll do is get rid of the word text. So I'll add a keyframe in here, and then around about keyframe frame 60 we want it to disappear. So if we play that through, see everything starts to disappear. So to make it a bit more fun, come into the text and let's have a look at the shading. Let's turn it to a gradient. Let's select the red. So we now have this red. So now we have our red text. Come into our emitter. And what we'll do is use the colour from the region. And therefore all the colours that we've got in that gradient are reflected in the bubbles. So that's quite nice. Play it through. Now you might be thinking, that's all very nice, how would I use that somewhere else? So back on the Fusion page, click on the file, export, the ability here to export the Fusion composition. This was one I did earlier, so Fusion Comp. You can now import that later on. So if we come back in, create a new timeline. The only gotcha here is that you actually need a Fusion composition to start with. Nip over to the Fusion page, to a file, let's import a Fusion composition. And there we have it.